Good morning from Warsaw, Warszawa, Poland, the capital. Welcome to the Walkie Talkie Traveller channel, and today this video is going to be primarily about a little bit of street art, I think, because you can never get too much street art, can you? And I don't think I really included enough when I was in Warsaw on my previous visit. However, on my way to an area of some nice street art around Warsaw Ghetto train station, I happened to notice this. Ghetto Wall, 1940, 1943. To pinpoint where we are, we're right up here in the northeast corner of where the ghetto used to be. And the ghetto used to be northeast of the old town and stretch west and south, as you can see. They haven't pinpointed over here points of interest, but you can see the primary bridges which still exist today, and roughly for reference, here's the old town. Here the Kingsway, Nowy Świat, running down all the way to Łazienki Park. Now we've got our bearings, we can read the plaque and discover what it has to tell us. By order of the German occupation authorities, the ghetto was cut off from the rest of the city on November 16, 1940. The ghetto area, surrounded by a wall, was initially 307 hectares, 759 acres. With time, it was reduced. Starting in January 1942, it was divided in two parts called the large and small ghettos. Approximately 300,000 Warsaw Jews and 90,000 from other towns were herded into the ghetto. Nearly 100,000 died of hunger. Just stop and think about that number. 100,000 starved to death. During the summer of 1942, the Germans deported and murdered close to 300,000 people in the gas chambers of Treblinka. Again, pause. 300,000 people killed at Treblinka concentration camp in the gas chambers. On April 19, 1943, an uprising broke out in the ghetto. Until mid-May, fighters and civilians perished in combat or in the systematically burned ghetto buildings. The remaining population was murdered by the Germans in November 1943 in the Majdanek, Poniatowa and Trawniki concentration camps. Majdanek, just outside the city of Lublin today. Only a few survived. To the memory of those who suffered, fought and perished, the city of Warsaw in 2008 placed this memorial here. This point at the junction of Bonifraterska and Żoliborska streets was the northeast corner of the ghetto. There was a wooden bridge passing over Przebieg Street, a street not included in the ghetto. Completely unrecognizable today. Of course, after the wholesale attempt to obliterate the entire city by the Germans in 1944. Here, a trace memory of where the wall stood. That wooden fence, perhaps, from the picture. And now the walk continues northward to Warsaw Ghetto train station. Just carefully pop over the tram lines. And I think I'm going to go this way round. There's a big flyover coming up, and it's underneath that big flyover where I saw that there are some nice pieces of artwork on display when I arrived at Warsaw Ghetto train station just a few days ago. So with the luggage and all, you know, I've been travelling for a long time. I didn't feel like whipping out the phone and making a short video. I just wanted to get the luggage off my back, get checked in, bedded in, and I thought if I've got time, I'll pop back. And it's not at all far. It's only about a 30-minute walk from where I'm staying on the edge of the old town. And when I say on the edge, really am right on the edge, a stone's throw from the Royal Palace. Once again, I'm staying at Safe Stay Hostel, if I can remember the name. And I'll be dividing my short stay in Warsaw between this hostel and also the same hostel where I stayed previously on my last visit. Last few days will be at New World Street Hostel, and primarily it's all about proximity to arrival and departure points, and also, of course, what are the cost of those beds going to be like. And it just so happened that I was going to be arriving at Warsaw Ghetto. The closest hostel was Safe Stay, and it also fell into place beautifully because on Hostel World, yeah, not booking.com, but Hostel World, I discovered there was a sort of early bird price, I think they called it. And that popped up only about 3-4 weeks before I intended to check in. So it wasn't 3 months in advance having to check what the dorm bed prices were. But as I say, about 3 or 4 weeks in advance. Just so happened, somebody in the back room at the hostel, their management team, handling analytics, I suppose, who knows what. But anyway, bit of price juggling, and they decided they were going to reduce the prices on particular days, which suited me absolutely beautifully. So I ended up in an 8-bed dorm for 60 zloty for the first couple of nights, and then the third night I think was going to be 72 zloty, something in that ballpark. So basically I was paying 12 British pounds, 13 euros, 14 to $15 for the first couple of nights. And frankly, it was a considerable saving on what the normal prices would be. I let that lead me to make the booking on the days when I could get those cheap prices. And I think my last day actually the price reverted a bit closer to what it would normally be, somewhere in the region of about 90 zloty across, I think, a 4-day period, 4-night period, something in the order of an average. It works out around 13 to 14 pounds, or about 15 euros or $16 per night, which is more than I want to pay, of course, but it was the best price for quality option I had available to me, and it's worked out rather well. I'm not making a video of the dorm because I have made a video of a similar 8-bed dorm previously on my stay there, so didn't seem a lot of point. All very much of a muchness, so you know what you're getting. My advice, jump in for the top bunk, because with the top bunk the curtain goes the full length of the bed. Nice. And also in the top bunk, you're that little bit further away from the slightly annoying underbed, squeaking, grinding, rolling wooden containers which serve as your lockers. Nice idea on paper, but actually, people are having to really struggle to get in and out of those lockers, and if they're coming in late at night or checking out very early in the morning, it can be annoying. I'm glad I'm not on the bottom bunk. Stabilization, absolutely rock solid for the top bunk, so why not? It's not a capsule. It's not really close to a capsule, but you can in some senses feel that bit of extra privacy up there. Now we're seeing some very nice artwork of all kinds of inspiration. Here we've got Galeria Ukraińska. Behind us, something to do with the meeting of minds, like-minded people concerned with the mental health of individuals, presumably. This mural highlights the availability of help should there be any Polish people who need to talk to somebody or want to discuss mental health issues in general. But that aside, just purely as an artwork, that's how I'm looking at it. I'm thinking Tony Soprano almost, second from the right. I like it. I wonder what's on the other side here, if I can cross the bicycle lane. Well, there's no security guard screaming at me, "Get off, get away, get out of it. You're too close, you're too far. You're not near enough. Go away. You shouldn't be there." Can't you see we're still developing the grass or whatever they're up to here? Looks a bit of a building site, but nobody's around, so I'm having a snoop around. Emphasis on Polish and Ukrainian closeness. And of course, as with most neighbours, history clearly shows a prior love-hate relationship. More love these days, given the circumstances of what the Ukrainian people have been put through. It's interesting because it actually went up in 2019, it seems, according to the date, bottom right-hand corner. So before the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, maybe the artist had a premonition. Or not. And again, something rather pretty from Aneta Paszak in 2019. No artist has been crazy enough to risk his life or her life painting so close to what is not only a very busy road, but also a working tram line right over there in the middle. But we can see some more artwork if we pop over to the other side of the road. I could get across that way, but I actually think I want to go this way and see if there's an underground path to get over there. Not sure if there is actually, maybe not. But I would like to see what's down underground, because often, of course, that kind of location cries out for artists to paint on the walls. Let's have a look. And here, of course, Warsaw is absolutely littered with memorial stones and plaques relating in particular to the Second World War. And there's another one. If anyone caring to read Down to the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. And it seems here is a gallery, a short collection of paintings relating to the Jewish population and the 500 years of history of Jews in Poland, which you may remember seeing a little bit about at the Polin Museum, which I featured in another video from my last visit to Warsaw. And of course Mr. Greedy here is greedy for more and wishes, oh, wouldn't it be magnificent if this was all beautifully painted by artists with talent? But at least the people who've got their hand on some paint who have no talent whatsoever have not defaced the artwork we have been able to see and enjoy. They've just made a mess on a blank canvas. So just a very short video really today. Unfortunately, it's quite a long way away from the next little batch of street art I have in mind visiting. And that may well be the subject of my next video. Why not? Because then we can walk down the full length of Puławska Street, running north to south, south of the centre really of the city, and it's a nice stretch, and I'll be twisting my neck like an L from left to right, no doubt, to see anything and everything that I can, filming it just for you, after the editing of course. Righty ho. I hope you enjoyed the little snippet, the update on the accommodation situation, as well as a brief dip into history and a little look at some of the colourful galleries which have been popping up over the last 5 years here in Warsaw. Until the next time, as we say in Warsaw, adios. No, we don't. We say do widzenia, or do zobaczenia. I know you'll be back. I know I will be. What would make it perfect is if the train I'm now looking at had actually started its journey, and then I could have filmed that in the background. But what were the chances that that was ever going to happen? Oh well, can't have everything, can you? Guess it's not my lucky day. Better late than never.